Hey everyone, Shaq Redemption here to give a recap of 30 seasons of almost pure domination for the Indiana Pacers. Kicking things off with Shaquille O'Neal going into the Hall of Fame. Pretty cool class of Hall of Famers here. Shaq, Kidd, and Iverson. Taking a look at Shaq's accolades in his 21 years, 7 MVP awards, a 14-time All-Star, got Defensive Player of the Year once, 20-time champion, so the only time he didn't win it was when Jason Kidd got his one right there in the 94-95 season. Also Kidd's rookie year with the Pistons. Shaq got 3 Finals MVPs out of those 20 championships, 9-time first team All-NBA, 1 on the second team, 3 on the third team. He was all-defense first team 4 times and second team 3 times. He won Rookie of the Year, so of course was all-rookie first team. Just ridiculous accolades for one Shaquille O'Neal. Kidd was pretty awesome as well. I mean, 10-time first teamer, a 13-time all-defense first team. That's craziness. Also was Defensive Player of the Year 3 times as a point guard. Iverson, not quite as dominant, but still 14-time All-Star like the others, and got All-Defense second team 5 times. Kidd didn't win Rookie of the Year. I believe Glenn Robinson did that year. But there you go. The reason I wanted to start with this was to show, and I kind of gave it away in the title of the video here, but you notice Shaq's there, and if you watched a few seasons back, you might remember me showing that he already was in the Hall of Fame. So back in 2010, that was the first year Shaq was saying he was going to retire, and then he did not appear in the retired players list. But yet he still made the Hall of Fame, and his jersey number still got retired by the Pacers. So Shaquille O'Neal now shows as a 2-time Hall of Fame inductee in 2010, and when he actually retired now in 2013. What's funny is his stats are actually different too. So you can see his stats as of 3 years ago versus what he did since then. Everything's down, of course, but 3 more championships, so there's that. But I thought we could start here too. Maybe we'll work our way backwards, I guess, since we already know Shaq, Kidd, and Iverson. But seeing the other Hall of Famers across this 30-season adventure. So we didn't have any in 2012. We had McDyess and Weber in 2011. We had, Shaq was the only one in 2010. In 2009, Big Dog and Gary Payton, Pacer for all but his last season, I think. And we went 4 years without any Hall of Famers. So between '05 and '09, nothing. But we had Scottie Pippen in '05, who was also a Pacer for much of his career. The Admiral was '05, and '04, Arvydas Sabonis. So he is in the Hall of Fame in real life, but not for his NBA stats, but more for his European stats. So he played in the NBA for the full career. How many seasons? Does it say seasons? It doesn't say seasons, does it? And I can't click him. But he was a 10-time All-Star, so that shows you enough. Timmy Hardaway, 2003. Michael Jordan retired in 2002, got his 1 championship with the Pacers. We can also look at the championships and probably find out who played for the Pacers or not. Kidd got his 1 when the Pacers didn't win. Like I said, McDyess got 1 in his last season as a Pacers locker room mentor, I guess. Robinson never got 1. Gary Payton, like I said, was on the team from 90 until he retired in '09, so I think '08. I don't think he played 2 years beyond. He might have. He might have played 2 years without the Pacers. I'm thinking not, though. He got 17 championships. Not sure. Pippen got 7. Those were all with the Pacers. None of these guys did. Jordan got his 1, like I said. Barkley, those 3 were all with the Pacers his, I think, final 3 years. He played pretty much up until he retired. Like, he wasn't riding the bench so much. John Stockton was a pacer for, I think, his whole career. Won 14 championships. So he had the record before Peyton took it over at 17. And then once Shaq decided to not retire after 2010, he ended up annihilating the record, getting up to 20 championships. We had Hakeem, didn't win any championships, retired. I'm not sure why these are in different orders. That's weird to me, unless it's based on draft year. Is it based on... No, because Shaq is... I don't know why Hakeem is out of order. That's weird. Terry Cummings made the Hall of Fame. We had Clark Kellogg as a pacer for all but his, I think, final year, or maybe two. I know he went to the Lakers. I remember being kind of upset about that because I wanted him to be a pacer for his whole career. But he did win a lot of championships, made the Hall of Fame, got his number retired. Patrick Ewing was the guy who changed everything. He's also out of order based on the years. I don't know if anybody knows why they're not in order of retired years. I'd be curious to hear it. But Ewing was our first ever number one pick that we got. We kind of lucked into it because we had the Knicks number one pick, ironically. And it wasn't the best odds of getting the number one pick, if I recall correctly. But we won the lottery and got Patrick Ewing. And from there on out, it was winning ways, pretty much, for the Pacers. But then he played for the Pacers until 92, when we drafted Shaq, when we got the number one pick that year. And I played them for half a season together with Ewing at power forward. It wasn't really going great, and I remember trading Ewing, or doing Trade Finder on Patrick Ewing and getting Scottie Pippen with that trade. So it worked out pretty well, and Ewing went on to play for a few other teams. We had Isaiah Thomas retire in 99, so we got to play, that's like 5 more years. I think his last year in real life was 93, 94. So it's kind of cool seeing guys extend their careers, much like Clark Kellogg, who only played a few seasons in the NBA, but had some bad knees, so had to retire early. Same with Michael Jordan, I guess you could say. Michael Jordan got to play. He didn't retire and miss several seasons in the middle of everything. So as I get to the league history, or the league records rather, you'll see that Michael Jordan's much higher in a lot of the lists because he got to play a lot. Dominique was also in 99. We had Clyde the Glide, Mark Aguirre, Magic Johnson won 4 championships, so that was... The Lakers were winning them all before we really had anything going, and Magic got to play until 99 as well, so that was kind of cool. I remember he left for the Hornets after he was done with the Lakers, and he might have played with somebody else after that. James Worthy retired the year before that, got 2 championships with the Lakers. Bernard King, Sidney Moncrief, Larry Bird. He played a bit later too, till 95, so that's 3 years longer than he did in real life. Marquise Johnson, that was the biggest trade we had, or the first big trade we made, was we traded for an all-star in Marquise Johnson, and he ended up winning a couple championships with us. It was pretty cool to have him. I remember being excited to have him, Ewing, Kellogg, and John Stockton, and I think my shooting guard for some of that time at least was Derek Harper, but also drafted Reggie Miller at one point. So Marquise was cool. I kind of forgot about him until I just got to him on the list. Alex English made the Hall of Fame, and Dantley, Moses Malone. Dantley got a championship with the Nuggets. Nuggets, is that right? I'm trying to remember. I remember losing, maybe it was the Jazz. I lost to the Jazz before I started the first big streak of championships in a row. Moses got a championship. Iceman, Dr. J got a championship. Kareem ended up with 5. Retired in 88. So he actually played less than he did in real life. So he's one of the few guys here that didn't play long enough. I remember I did keep him an extra year, so he tried to retire, I think, even a year earlier. We had Elvin Hayes, who I think I signed as a backup center. It had to have been that first or second year if he retired in 85. So it must have been the 84-85 year. Signed him. He won a championship. Okay, so that was the last. So the first Hall of Famer we had was Elvin Hayes, and then we went 3 years before the rest. All right, so let's see what else is here. I guess let's maybe look at the past champions since I was kind of talking about that. So the first year we did was 83-84. So heading into the historic 84 class, or draft class, the Lakers and Celtics in Game 7, I thought that was a perfect way to start off everything. I kind of want to go back and watch my first video just to see, first of all, how things were different or how I managed things differently 30 years earlier. But yeah, it's just a long time ago. So then they went back to back, beat the Sixers, so another great Eastern Conference team. It was the Jazz. So after we drafted Patrick Ewing as a rookie, he took us to the finals and took us to a Game 7 where Dantley actually got the finals MVP, beating us. And then the dynasty really started. So we got to the finals against the Lakers. Derek Harper at this point was, I think, still starting. I know I had him at six man for a while. Maybe he was six man. I'm not sure. But we went to 7 games against the Lakers and beat them. And then the next 4 years, we went against the Blazers in the finals. Ewing ended up with 3 of those finals MVPs. Kellogg got 1. And then we go against the Sonics the year before. So this was Ewing's last full season with the Pacers where he won a finals MVP. Then we got the first pick in 92, and Shaquille O'Neal came into the mix. Our first sweep of the finals against the Lakers, and our finals MVP ended up being Scottie Pippen, who I just mentioned we traded Patrick Ewing for. And then 93-94, we swept the Sonics, so back-to-back sweeps. We had Gary Payton as finals MVP. I think he was sixth man at that point, because he was sixth man his first several seasons, because we had John Stockton at point guard, and we had drafted Reggie in 87, and he was starting, so Gary Payton was the super sixth man. He won, I think, 3 Sixth Man of the Year awards as well. And he was in his 4th season at this point. And then the randomness happened in 94-95, where we got beat in the second round by the Charlotte Hornets. I don't remember there being any key injuries or any real excuse for it, but Jason Kidd in his rookie season took the Pistons to the finals and dominated the Spurs. And then we're back to it. So after 8 in a row from 86 through the 93-94 season, we get 8, then the Pistons stop the streak. Then we're back to it 95-96. This was the year that the Grizzlies and Raptors jumped in to the league, and I had to make a decision on who to protect in the expansion draft, and the person I left open, or one of the people I left open, was Reggie Miller. I was thinking since he was, 7, 8 years pro, they would take, I believe it was Alonzo Mourning was the other person I left open, and since he was a bit younger, only 3 years pro, thought they'd probably take Mourning and leave me Reggie. I was wrong, because I think Reggie was a better overall slightly, and they, I think, just aim for whoever the better overall player is. So Reggie Miller went to the Grizzlies, and in that same offseason, I guess before that, Don Nelson, my longtime coach, left for the Raptors. So both expansion teams kind of stole from my domination, but it didn't matter because we still swept the Clippers in the finals. Gary Payton got a second finals MVP. Shaq gets his first in 96-97 where we beat the Grizzlies, so that was kind of cool. The second season we had Reggie against the Pacers in the finals. Then we, I guess 13 seasons later, we finally got our revenge on in the finals against the Jazz. Shaq goes back-to-back finals MVPs. Then we get Kevin Garnett. So Garnett we drafted in 95. I'll have to go back and see. I don't know how easy it would be to see how many first overall picks we had, a lot of times it wasn't because I had the biggest odds. It's just because I had a lot of picks and the odds went our way. Um, I know I mentioned before it'd be kind of interesting to go back and see when did I start accumulating a bunch of the picks. I remember my strategy early on was to trade anybody pretty much whose contract was expiring and they weren't really playing. Why not get something for them? And then later on it became, well, if their rookie contract is expiring, trade them before they want a whole bunch of money. So, some of the same stuff that happens, I guess, in real life. But Garnett got an MVP. Peyton gets, so that's 3 across a 7-season span. That was the first time against the Timberwolves. Then back-to-back against the T-Wolves. This was a sweep. Garnett gets his second. Shaq gets his third here against the Lakers. So Lakers are back in the mix after an absence since 92-93. 02-03, we swept the Warriors, and Steve Nash got the MVP in that one. And then LeBron James enters the league. That was one of the rare years we didn't get the number 1 pick. So LeBron went to the Blazers, and that year Kobe gets his first MVP. I think he was a sixth man for, or well, at least off the bench. I don't even think he was a sixth man as a rookie, but he was off the bench I think for the first 3 or 4 years because I had Stockton and Peyton starting, and Pippen was my small forward at least for a while. We got Grant Hill at some point. We had a lot of good players rolling through in the Pacers threads. So Kobe gets back-to-back MVPs. We swept the Warriors again. Make it 3. We swept the Grizzlies. So back-to-back sweeps and trifecta of Kobe MVPs. And then there's a 4th. So 3 sweeps in a row. This was probably our most dominant stretch, it looks like. 3 final sweeps in a row. And then we have another matchup against the Nuggets. They did get a win on us, but Kobe gets 5 MVPs. I guess I kind of forgot that he got 5 in a row. 08-09, Chris Paul gets MVP. So that was his, 4th year? And we swept the Blazers. So that was against LeBron in the finals. Then we go against the Suns. Chris Paul goes back-to-back MVPs. We sweep the Grizzlies. Dwayne Wade gets his first. Chris Paul gets a 3rd against the Mavericks. And then our most recent one, it was very fitting to end it with a sweep and to see KD get his first Finals MVP. So that, I think I counted them last time, that's 18. 18 in a row, plus the 8 here. 26 out of 30. That's not bad. I thought it would get kind of old, and I mean, it kind of got a little old when, the super team really started, and it got to a point where it's like I wasn't even playing people that could make, the all-star team on a different team, and it also took away not just the competition of the other teams, but just the playing time, right? Because the other teams were so shallow, or just not very deep when it came to real players, honestly. But they were also playing some really, really bad players. Whereas if they had some of the guys I wasn't even playing or not playing much off the bench, that could have made things, like stat-wise, a little better. Obviously would have made winning a little harder. But hey, if they're willing to do the trades, I'm gonna do them. I guess there is a setting to make trades harder. Maybe that's something to consider next time. But, all right. What else we got? League leaders. Let's do season awards first, then we'll do league leaders. Season awards, starting with the lowest. Magic Johnson, like I said, was just purely dominant when we kicked things off. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Not only was he a 7-time, well, I guess he was an 8-time MVP, but he won 7 in a row to kick things off. And then it wasn't until Ewing's 6th season that he gets his first MVP, made it 2 in a row, and then we traded him, and that allowed Magic Johnson to win another one. Then in Shaq's 2nd year got an MVP, and then it was a run of Shaq here. So he got 6 in a row. And then Kobe takes over in 99. Tim Duncan stops the Pacers streak for the Sonics. That's weird that it has the Thunder logo, but the Sonics as the team. I thought it would update both of them, but okay. Then Shaq comes back for a 7th year in 01-02, and I think that was his last one. Weber, who was just amazingly consistent throughout his career, gets it for the Warriors back-to-back years. LeBron in year number 2 takes over, gets an MVP. Kobe with his second, 6 years apart. LeBron gets his second, third, fourth, fifth. And then Chris Paul gets 2 before KD gets the last one. So it was KD's year here in this final season, getting MVP and Finals MVP. I'm going to go back down here so we don't spoil the reveal here. Rookies of the year. I'm not going to... Maybe I should guess. I'm going to guess that this could be fun. Based on who I know is in the class versus who I think actually won it. So 83. So that was Ralph Sampson, obviously. It's right there. Yeah, he was... I'm trying to think if he won it in real life. 84, I'm pretty sure it was Michael Jordan for the Bulls. Yes, Michael Jordan drafted number 1 by the Bulls. That was a really cool way to start things off as well, I thought. Weird thing is, 4 seasons later, they decided not to match his contract offer from the expansion team Miami Heat, so he left. Very weird. 85, I believe, is Patrick Ewing. Patrick Ewing for the Indiana Pacers. 86 is a hard one. 86. That's Brad Daugherty's year, right? He was number 1 pick. I don't think it was him, but if I don't remember somebody else, I feel like he's got to be my guess. Len Bias. Len Bias won Rookie of the Year. I totally forgot about that. Speaking of players who didn't have an NBA or a lengthy NBA career, who we got to play out an alternate reality. There you go. He averaged, I think, 20 points per game for a couple seasons. So that was cool. 87. I don't think it was Pippen. So technically 87, let's see, David Robinson was drafted, right? So I think it was Robinson. Yes. So in real life it was 89 was his rookie year. But in this reality he didn't have to go serve for the Navy. So he won Rookie of the Year for the Nets. 88. Ooh. I don't know that I have a guess for 88. Is 88 like Purvis Ellison or Danny Manning's maybe 88? I guess that's my guess. Oh, yes. Danny Manning. Couldn't have told you it was for the Warriors. Pulled that one out. But I don't know that I have one for 89. So that means that one. I don't think Purvis Ellison won Rookie of the Year, though. 89. Is that like Tim Hardaway or... Let's just say Tim Hardaway. I might be even off on a season on that. Oh my gosh. I was thinking maybe he was 90. So Tim Hardaway, the future Hall of Famer there, for the Magic. That'd be a different game if I tried to guess the team as well. 90, I think it might have been... What? Did Gary Payton win Rookie of the Year for me? No. He didn't play enough because he was off the bench. That's right. So the Cavs, Kendall Gill. I would not have guessed that one. 91, I'm going to say, is Larry Johnson. And what team did he play for in this? Maybe like the Knicks or something? I don't know. I was wrong on both. So Billy Owens for the Bucks. 92 had to have been Shaq for the Pacers. Yes, sir. So Pacers got 2 Rookies of the Year. 93 was... Ooh. I'm guessing it could have been Mashburn. No, is Weber for the... He didn't start with the Warriors. He started with the Jazz. Yes. I think he got his number retired for both teams, if I recall correctly. 94, like I said, I think was Glenn Robinson. I think he played for either the Knicks or the Spurs. It was the Knicks. I think he played for the Spurs later on. 95, it was not Garnett because he was on my team as a backup. It might have been Rasheed Wallace or Damon Stoudemire. Or McDyess. Let's go with McDyess. And I have no idea what team he played for. The Grizzlies. I might have been able to get that if I thought, but at least I got the guy right. Okay, this is getting hard. 96, I'm going to say Iverson for the Suns. Yes, I remember him scoring like 30-plus points per game because the Suns had nobody else on their team that could score. He was on some bad Phoenix teams. 97, probably Duncan for the Sonics. Yes. Then he ended up going to the Suns, and I think he played with Iverson for a year, and then that didn't do anything. 98. Dirk was on my team, so not him. Carter was on my team too, so probably Pierce for the Lakers. Yes. 99. Ooh, who was 99? 99 and 2000 were pretty rough years. Rip Hamilton was maybe 99. I don't think he won Rookie of the Year, though. Baron Davis? Am I thinking of the right year? I'm not going to guess it. Elton Brand, well, he was probably the number one pick. Goes to the Magic. 2000 was an awful class, so it was either Kenyon Martin, who was for the Knicks, I think. I'll just go with that. Yes. So the Knicks got six-man Rookie of the Years here. Are they the first repeat? Other than me, I mean? I think so. Alright, 2001. That's Dwight Howard, but he was on my team. Who else was in that class? No, Dwight wasn't 2001. 2001 was, I can't remember 2001. Alright, buzzer goes off. Joe Johnson. So Knicks got back-to-back Rookie of the Year. That's kind of cool. Why can't I think of who the real-life number one pick was in 01? 02 is Yao, but he was on my team, so not Yao. Maybe like Amare? Yes. Pistons. Who was the number one pick between Kenyon Martin and Yao Ming? Dwight was 04. LeBron was the next year, and obviously he won that. Why am I drawing a blank? Bargnani was later on. Alright, well, I gotta look it up, guys, because it's driving me crazy. 2001 NBA Draft. Oh my gosh, Kwame Brown. Well, there's a reason I forget. I'm glad it wasn't somebody amazingly good. Okay, 04. That probably was... Ooh. I don't know, because it's getting to the point where I had a lot of the good picks, so I took a lot of the great players onto my team. So the players who won the award probably weren't the first pick. I'm going to give up on that one. Ben Gordon, the Mavericks. 05. Is that going to be like Bargnani or something like that? Darren Williams for the Bobcats. 06. was... Is Bargnani 06? Did I get that wrong? I don't know. Yeah, okay. Bargnani's the Wizards. 07 is not going to be Durant. It's going to be... I don't remember the classes as well. I jumble up some of these. 07, not Odin, not... Why am I only thinking of like Joakim Noah and Swaggy P? I don't know. Mike Conley. Yeah, he scored like, I think 20 points a game as a rookie. 08, I'm guessing, was Derrick Rose. Yep, for the Bulls. So it's kind of cool. The Bulls had Michael Jordan in 84 as a rookie of the year. They get Derrick Rose, 2008, as a rookie. Cool. 09 was... What class was 09? After Rose. Is 09 like the Curry year, or is that 10? Blake Griffin won it for the Sixers. 10 is like Paul George, maybe? Cousins. Yeah, for some reason I remember the earlier ones better than these more recent ones. I feel like I kind of flew through the more recent ones, so it doesn't stick with me as long. 11 is Kyrie, probably. Yep. 12. Wait, that was the last year we did. Who won Rookie of the Year? Shoot. I have Anthony Davis, so it wasn't him. Lillard? Drummond. Drummond for the Heat. Okay, well, we're not going to play the guessing game on all of them, but that was kind of fun. Let's start from the bottom again. Sixth man. All right, well, we get the spoil here. Kevin McHale won it. Paul Pressey. Byron Scott, back-to-back for the Lakers. Ron Harper for the Sixers. I forget who he was backing up, but he was like high 80s overall, and he was sixth man for some reason. Terry Porter for the Hawks, don't remember that at all. Charles Smith for Hornets, that's super random. Scott Skiles, Rockets. Jazz get Willie Anderson a sixth man of the year, and then it was Gary Payton's time. Backing up John Stockton and Reggie Miller before he took over a starting role. He was awesome off the bench. Got one for the Bucks. Rod Strickland for the Heat. So there aren't any teams that are like known for their sixth man. It looks like the Bucks got one in 85 and 96. The Knicks get Rodney Rogers one. The Lakers had Dikembe 12 years after Byron Scott did it. Warriors Steve Francis. Nets Juwan Howard. They got back-to-back. Juwan Howard and then Rafer Alston. Oh my gosh, 3 in a row. Terrell Brandon. So their backup point guard got it. I was going to say, if they did it 4 times in a row and I didn't notice, that would have been crazy. The Hornets get one with Mo Pete. The Hawks, Nick Van Exel. That's kind of cool. So it took me over a decade to do it again. We had Gary Payton get it 3 times, and then Dwayne Wade in year number 3 get sixth man of the year. He was backing up. Was Kobe starting at shooting guard at that point? Maybe. I don't remember. Mo Williams for the Grizz. Got back-to-back. That's cool. The Nets back at it. Boozer. The Spurs get TJ Ford. Thunder, Brandon Jennings got back-to-back as well. And then we rounded off with a Boogie Cousins Sixth Man of the Year award. So we got it 5 times. That is the best because the Nets did it 4 times. So we will gladly take that. Defensive Player of the Year. Joe Barry Carroll won it the first year, and then it was just a dance between the centers of the league. Olajuwon gets 3, then Ewing, then Olajuwon, then Robinson, then Ewing gets 2 more. Olajuwon goes from the Blazers to the Celtics and changes his name to Hakeem instead of Hakeem. He wins it again. Robinson, second one for the Nets. Olajuwon again. Robinson goes from the Nets to the Clippers, wins it again. Ewing, now with the Lakers, wins it. Ewing gives back-to-back. Robinson gets it again. Robinson now goes to the Nuggets and wins it again. And then finally, yeah, I like it. I think that's fitting for, after 30 seasons of this, for Shaq to get dual accolades. It's pretty cool. So after how many years in a row? 80, 85 through 2000. That's 16 seasons. We had a dance between Robinson, Ewing, and Olajuwon winning all the Defensive Player of the Year's award. That's awesome. And then it goes to Chris Webber. Shaq finally gets one in year number 10. Jason Kidd's the first non-big guy to win the award, and he gets it 3 years in a row for the Pistons. And this is 8 years after he won a championship. Then Duncan gets it. LeBron gets it as the first wing player to win it. Then his teammate Shane Battier gets it. Kirilenko gets it, and I'm not even sure he was starting because they had a bunch of forwards they were shuffling around. Rashard Lewis and they had Glenn Robinson for a while. Somebody else. Oh, Al Harrington. So maybe he was starting, but he went back to back. I'm sorry, three-peat. And then LeBron, after he shifted to the Spurs, won it, and then got back-to-back. So he got 3 Defensive Player of the Year awards. So it's kind of interesting how it kind of followed real life, where it's like the age of the big man, and then it shifted a bit. But I still think there's been more big guys winning Defensive Player of the Year in real life now. Because it's easier to get blocks. All right, most improved player. The award started, I guess, with this first season, LaSalle Thompson. This award, I know there were some glitches with. There might still be. I'd be curious to know on 2K24 if it still does what we'll see here. Worthy, interesting to get a most improved player. Charles Davis, Terry Porter. So he won a six-man and a most improved. Hot Rod gets one. This is where it didn't make sense, I believe. They really cater toward the expansion teams. So the Hornets joined the league, and I don't think Sam Bowie was any better this year than he was in whatever team he was before. Maybe same with Rick Smits, but for whatever reason, even when you look at the rankings, it's like craziness that they have like worse stats, but just because they're on an expansion team, they gotta win most improved. Bucks had Purvis get it, Pistons now, so they had Hot Rod, and then 5 years later get Nick Anderson, and that's because I traded them Nick Anderson, I believe. He was stuck on my team, not really playing. The Suns have Romeo Robinson, Cavs, Austin, Dikembe got it for the Nets. That seemed kind of random, but again, I think I was holding him hostage at that point, so he went and got to play a lot more. Here's another one where Adam Keefe didn't do any better, but because he was on the expansion Grizzlies, he won the award. Alonzo, that was probably after I traded him as well, won it. Van Exel for the Heat. Van Horn for the Hornets. My first was Kobe. I think I do have another one coming up, but Paul Pierce won it. Vince Carter, that was after I traded him as well. Jamal Tinsley was kind of random. I believe that was a year where the Kings had like 6 real players on their team. Raptors, Manu got it after I traded him. So a lot of these players are guys I had on my bench that I traded or lost. I guess Manu I left in free agency, I think. But they went and dominated for another team. Maybe not dominated, but got good stats. Jason Richardson for the Bobcats, he actually deserved that as the expansion team. Tony Parker, that was after he left the Pacers as well. Then Smush Parker. J.J. Barea, Josh Smith, that was after he left the Pacers. KD, that was the other one I knew we had coming up. So Kobe, KD, Brandon Roy, another guy after he left the team. Dragic, Sixers, Westbrook, another guy left the Pacers. So that was like at least, I think, 10 players I said. Former Pacers who went to a different team and won most improved players. So I'm going to take some credit for those. But also the fact that I had 2 guys from the Pacers actually do it is pretty good. I'm just going to quickly go through that. Maybe I'll just start at the top since the scroll bar is crazy. I'm just going to see if there's anybody like ridiculously unfit for an All-NBA first team. Al Jefferson got a few. It'd be cool if I had like a counter here of how many times they got it. McGrady, I mean, he had a few years where he had really good stats, but his overall, I don't think got above like 84 maybe tops. Corey Maggetti's kind of random. McDyess was really good for a good chunk of his career. There's Vin Baker. Magic looks like that's his last one in 93, 94. Was that the last Michael Jordan too? So they shared it. That's kind of cool. Barkley on the Bullets. We had two here, Pippen and Shaq. I don't think we ever had three. I don't think that was a thing. Ewing got it there. Was Ewing our first we ever had, evidently? It's 87. That would make sense. So he got it in 86. He didn't get it as a rookie, but in his second year, he was a first-team All-NBA. Nicely done. And there's the start of it. So let's go to second team and just kind of scroll up. Mostly looking for the Pacers. There's Johnson and Kellogg. Stockton and Ewing. Those are back-to-back years. Well, there they shared one. 89-90, we had Stockton and Ewing. Stockton again. Stockton again. There's Pippen. So that was Shaq's rookie year and the year we traded for Pippen. So some of his stats were from the Sonics, I think is the team we sent Ewing to. Then we don't have a second teamer for a while. Gary Payton. Shaq in 03-04. There's Dwayne Wade, Kobe, Dwayne Wade, and then nothing here the last few years. Third team, there's Kobe. Kobe had a lot of injury-riddled seasons, so he lost out on some of the accolades he would otherwise have, like All-Stars and All-NBAs. There's Peyton and Kobe, Peyton, Garnett, Shaq, Peyton, Pippen, Stockton, Derek Harper got one. Stockton, I think Derek Harper did that off the bench as well. All right, all defense. I don't remember having a whole lot of all defensive players. There's Ewing. I think Shaq got several. But other than that, ooh, I forgot Dennis Rodman got one. I kind of forgot I had Dennis Rodman on the team. It wasn't for a super long time. Ewing again. Pippen, Peyton. Okay. I did have quite a few defenders then. Peyton. Where's Shaq at? Peyton. There's Shaq. Peyton and Shaq. Peyton. Shaq. And that's it until Dwayne Wade this year. Went a long stretch there. Second team Wade the year before. There's Wade again up there. Peyton, Garnett and Shaq both in that year. Then Kobe was there before that. Kobe was never a great defender in this simulation. His attributes never quite got amazing to where I would like put him on people in matchups or anything. It was usually Pippen or Wade or Peyton I was doing that with. There's Shaq and Garnett. Kemp, kind of forgot about that too. And especially as an all-defensive team, don't remember that. Shaq. There's Rodman. And Ewing got second team in his second year. Cool. All rookie team. This is where there's not going to be a whole lot of Pacers. Because eventually rookies were kind of rarely playing by the time we got closer to the end. they just didn't have enough floor time to get all rookie. Ewing was an exception for sure. He was first team. I guess I could look a little slower at these to see if there's any crazy. There's Doc Rivers. So Jordan, Olajuwon, Barkley, Perkins, and Bowie. So I couldn't get Stockton in there, although he started, I think, half of his rookie season. 85, that's a pretty awesome list of 5 there. 86, John Williams made it. There's Len Bias again. 87, Mark Jackson for the Bulls. Pippen was on the Suns. There's Robinson. Strickland. Hawkins. 88 wasn't a great year, it looks like. 89, a lot of guards. 90, another for the Bulls. There's Coleman for the Warriors. 91. That might be the real all-rookie team for 91. Not sure. 92, we should have Shaq here. Shaq, Mourning, Jackson, Leitner, Weatherspoon. Sounds about right. 93, pretty good. That's probably the best 5 out of that class. That was a year I did not have a high draft pick, I believe. I think I did draft Allen Houston, and he only played like 1 year with me before I traded him. 94, we did get to draft Grant Hill, but he didn't play that much, evidently, to get all-rookie first team. Instead, we had Carlos Rogers and Jerome Wright. 95, Grizzlies and Raptors both got some guys as expansion teams. Makes sense. 96, pretty good lineup there. 97, no big surprises. 98, again, Dirk and Carter were on my team, so they weren't playing all that much because we had a super team by this point, winning all sorts of championships. 99, 2000 was an awful year. 2001 wasn't great. Chandler was the number 1 pick I was forgetting before, by the way. Tyson Chandler? No, that was the Kwame. Never mind. Tyson was like a number 3 pick, maybe? 02. Jay Williams is somebody who had an amazingly good career. Yeah, I can do that. Yeah, I can go to the whatever it is. I don't know what that page is called. Team info. I don't know. Yeah, I'll go do that after this. 03, Melo and LeBron, of course. Dwayne Wade was on my team, not playing a whole bunch. 04, not great. 05, wins are, I think Durant made it, right? He played enough as a rookie, I would hope. No, he sure didn't. Maybe he made second team. Where's the next Pacer? Westbrook was on my team, so he didn't make it. Curry was balls out. Jeremy Lin's been amazing. The Bucks drafted a whole bunch of people because we traded for Cousins, and then they got a whole bunch of picks for it. There's Anthony Davis. So not amazing rookie outcomes, but we did have a lot of great names. Second team, did we have many? We had Brandon Roy. He played as a rookie, so Durant didn't do it. Dwayne Wade. Well, do we really not have anybody else? Did Stockton at least do it? Yes, John Stockton did make a second teamer. Steve Stepanovich. So he was somebody that I started out with, and actually, if I recall correctly, he is one of the guys I turned into the John Stockton draft pick. I traded Stepanovich and Jerry Seasting, I believe, for what ended up the John Stockton selection, so that turned out pretty well. Coach of the year, oh, this will be fun. All right, so those 3 years, not the Pacers. Here's Wang Trapuka. He got just the one. Just the one. Then we decided Don Nelson's pretty good. He was in the list of available coaches, so let's get Don Nelson. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, Not the next one because he left for the Raptors. We decided to go with Billy Cunningham. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 14. Then he retired, and we got Doc Rivers, who's not great from like a, I guess, badges and attributes and that sort of thing. But I wanted a real guy and a real coach, so we went with Doc Rivers. 1, 2, 3, 4. Pretty cool. And now we're back to MVP. So the only thing we didn't look at was league leaders. This shouldn't take too long just to see how many names there were that repeated, like LeBron and Carmelo kind of dominating here recently. McGrady got 30. The highest it looks like might have been the 35.6. That's craziness from LeBron. Here's Iverson's crazy years with the Suns. I forgot about Marbury doing it with the Rockets. Big dog. Shaq did lead the league 1 year, although that was the lowest amount that we've seen so far. Isaiah Ryder. We got Chris Mullin getting all sorts of points. Dominique, I forgot he joined Magic with the Lakers there for a bit. Jordan averaged a whole bunch of points. For rebounds, we had some guys in the 14s, and by guys I mean Bill Laimbeer. Ewing led it. It was under 12, which is the lowest on this list, but he led it. Duncan got 15 plus a game. McDyess led it a couple times. Duncan all over the place. And then Marcus Sol, year before last, was crazy. And Al Jefferson for the Lakers, because they had no other big people on that team, I don't think. So some 15s. Assists, mostly going to be, I think, a lot of the same people. Chris Paul's been the leader for the last 5 years. Wasn't over 10 that year. We got White Chocolate, Jason Kidd's all over this. Andre Miller. Kenny Anderson, under 9, led the league. I'm not sure what happened that year. Muggsy Bogues near the end of his career. There's Kidd, and then there's all sorts of John Stockton. And Magic Johnson looped in there some. He led it 5 in a row, then Stockton 3, Magic, then Stockton 5 more. Steals per game. Isaiah's here. Michael Jordan's in here a couple times. Ron Harper's in here several times. Peyton led the league 1 year. Kidd, Iverson, Peyton again. Kidd some more. Iverson some more. Manu. The Wolves had 2 different guys. One of them was Jason Williams. I don't remember him being a big thief on the defensive end, but he averaged over 2.5 steals, which looks to be the highest we've had. Nope, just kidding. Well, that seems like a little bit of a glitch, maybe. We got somebody from the G League listed here, a fake person who, maybe got called up, or I'm not sure what happened here. That's fun. Westbrook led it just at 2, so not a lot of steals here recently, looks like. Blocks, Roy Hibbert has been getting more blocks than anybody of recent history. Jermaine O'Neal dominated for 3 years in a row. Shaq did lead it once. Duncan's here. Oh, Shaq led it as a rookie, too. Purvis, Ralph Sampson. There's Ewing. And Joe Barry Carroll, that was the year he won Defensive Player. Minutes per game is interesting. I don't think we had anybody play 40. Magic was real close, though. Over 39.5. Then they had Worthy. They had Dominique. Magic again. 10 years later. Marbury. Oh, we did have somebody at 40. Tim Duncan played 40 minutes a game in his second season. He was real close in the next year, too. Allen Iverson almost played 40. And then Michael Beasley played the most of the Bobcats, playing their guys a whole lot. All right, so that's it for that. Let me go see. It's not Team Intel, right? No. It's when you right click on teams. No. Yes, no. Well, this is where we can see the records too. I guess while I'm in here. Let's do that. All right, we were 74-8 the last year. Where's that? 74-8. So we went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9 seasons in a row with less than 10 losses. And we had a 12-loss season right after we had our best record ever of 80-2 in 02-03. Team comparison. Okay, I'll take a look. But the 80-2 season was kind of out of nowhere because we weren't even winning 70 games the 3 seasons before that. So I don't know what changed there. I was as surprised as anybody. I know I've seen a lot of those, 82 win or perfect season challenges on 2K on YouTube, and it's really, really hard to do without adjusting settings and sliders and stuff, because just the randomization of what 2K does, it's really hard. So I was really surprised to have an 81 season. When was our first fewer than 10? Oh, we only go back to 89-90. Interesting. So it only shows, the last 25 years? I guess that's fair. Whatever. Not even 25. Not sure what this random number is. Okay, so we can't see everything. Okay, you said it's under team compare. Whoops. No, I know the thing you're talking about. Why am I? Because you can see retired jersey numbers. Well, I can see my trophy case. League. Oh, maybe it's. No. Team history. There it is. Okay, team history. There we go. 26 NBA championships in our 30 seasons of simulation. We see the retired jersey numbers there. I'll go back to that screen here in a minute. 34 playoff appearances, 32 division titles, 27 conference championships, conference rank. Okay. And you can see our rivals up there all in the East, I guess, based on who we recently played. I don't know how long it takes to change those, like how many times you have to have close games or big games against. I want to go see, actually, let's go ahead and do the retired jerseys, because I want to go through the teams. There's Iverson Kidd. You see Shaq isn't there, even though he's a Hall of Famer, because technically his jersey was retired 3 seasons ago. So let's go through the teams here, and you can see most of these are since we did, well, the top 3 are ones we did. So Moses and Dr. J, obviously their numbers are retired in real life. Ron Harper, definitely not. But deserving in this because he played with franchise up through 98, whereas in real life he was winning championships with the Bulls in 98. For the Bucks, we had Moncrief. That was the only one that happened during this simulation. The Wizards had Charles Barkley's number 34 retired because he spent his first 14 years there. For the Bulls, Tim Hardaway played almost his entire career. I think he shifted his last couple seasons. Michael Jordan, that was actually somewhat surprising because he only played his rookie contract with the Bulls, and because he led the league in scoring and made All-Stars and All-NBA, they still retired his number, so that was kind of cool. For the Cavs, they had nobody retirement-worthy. The Celtics, they already had a whole bunch of retirements going into this, but McHale and Bird got added. Robert Parrish did not. Oh, yeah, he did. Sorry, I totally skipped over him. So Parrish, McHale, and Bird, but nobody since then. Clippers had Karl Malone and Terry Cummings as their first and only 2 retirements. Hawks, they had Dominique. He left for the Lakers, like we saw, after 87, and then I forget where he played after that. He made some stops in different teams, I think. For the Jazz, we had Chris Webber and Dantley, along with Darrell Griffith. This was one of 2 numbers to be retired for Chris Webber. The Kings, this was one of the more recent ones. Sharif Abdurrahim, number 3, is retired after playing his first 9 years there. He was the only one here. The Knicks, we had Bernard King. That's it. Lakers, Patrick Ewing's number 6 got hung in the rafters, along with Magic Johnson, Kareem, James Worthy, who had 2 different stints with the Lakers, and also 2 different stints with the Nuggets, pretty much even, like 4-4-4-4, something like that. So I think his number is retired in Denver. We'll see here in a minute. Mark Aguirre is the only jersey hanging in Dallas. For the Nets, Hakeem's number 34, Robinson's number 50. Talk about some great centers there. They replaced Robinson in 95 with Hakeem. Buck Williams also got his retired. Nuggets, like I said, there's Worthy. You can see his 2 different stints. We had Alex English and Kiki also get retired. And here's the Pacers. So Ewing's number 6. Pippen, who had 2 different stints with the Pacers, his number 8. Stockton played his whole career with the Pacers. Grant Hill had, I think, actually 3 different stints with the Pacers. But one of them, like, we traded for him the season after he left, so it's just combining them in. That's fine with me. Gary Payton. Reggie even got retired. We got Shaq, of course. Clark Kellogg, that was one of the more exciting ones. And if we do a kind of quick simulation going forward, I imagine there will be many more to add here. Be kind of fun to see how many can rack up. Pistons, so Kidd we saw was new. Isaiah was the only one. Ralph Sampson's the only one for the Rockets. For the Spurs, Kenny Anderson got his jersey retired along with Mullen and the Iceman. Suns, we saw Iverson, Walter Davis also. The Thunder, Gus Williams and Jack Sikma. For the Blazers, Clyde got his along with Hakeem. So Hakeem's hanging in 2 places as well. Warriors, there's Weber again. Danny Manning. The Heat, that's kind of fitting because the Heat did retire the number 23 because of Michael Jordan in real life, even though he never played for them. In this case, he did play for them for quite a long time. He was kind of held hostage there. Never really did much for them. Hornets have none. The Magic have Dominique. That was the team I was forgetting he played for. Wolves have none. Raptors have none. Grizzlies have McDice. Bobcats, none. All right, what else can we see here? I guess we can go into the records. What's team records? Oh, this could be fun. I've not looked at this in a long time. Let's look at this first, just for the Pacers. And then we'll look at the league records. So Kobe was 5 points away twice from tying the all-time franchise record of 52 points. This was, again, kind of a consequence of having a lot of great players on a team. It was very rare for somebody to score a whole lot. It was more likely for a lot of people to score like in the 20s. But very, very randomly, every once in a while, somebody break out for 40. You see Kobe's in here 3 times, but Clark Kellogg did it before we had a super team, really, in 85. That was before we drafted Patrick Ewing. Oh, that's a good question. My guess would be no. I bet the jerseys don't actually hang, but that would be really, really cool if they add those up. If you went in to like play a game now, if you could actually see the number 32 O'Neal hanging in the rafters, that would be a nice touch. But I'm going to think that's probably not a thing. All right, let's look at field goals made. Kobe tied the record in 2010 that Patrick Ewing and Billy Knight had already done. We had Durant get 18 to kick off this last season. Three-pointers, Kobe made 9 in 07. Then we had 7 twice from Nash in 03. And Kobe did it, Durant did it. Kobe did it this last year. Cool. One of the last games of the season, it looks like. Free throws made, Patrick Ewing made 19 back in 92. That would have been, yeah, right, I guess right before we drafted Shaq, pretty much. But he also made 18 3 years prior. Yeah, I might try that. Reggie made 18 free throws. That's kind of random. Kobe got 18 and 17. Rebounds, we couldn't touch Dan Roundfield's 25, but we got real close with Kevin Garnett back in 98. Shaq had 23 and 99. I don't know who Mickey Johnson is, but I'm glad he got 22 rebounds and 80. Garnett also had 22, so got close. Assists dominated by John Stockton, ranging from 86 to 96 here, between 22 and 24 assists. And I think he got 25 in a playoff game, maybe. We'll see that in a minute. Blocks, Herb, that was before we started this, but Shaq tied it twice, and Ewing got 9 as well in 87, so a lot of 9s there. Nobody got the double-double with blocks. Steals, Dwayne Wade makes the list. A bunch of oldies here at the top, but Dwayne Wade got 7 in 09. Minutes, Shaq played 51 minutes to make the list back in 94. Turnovers, we had Stockton get 10 and 90, and then Gary Payton did it 3 different times in over a year span. And let's look at the playoffs now. This should be fun. Shaq got 49, so actually that beats the record that Kobe had. We saw 47. So Shaq got 49 in 97, got 44 in 02. Ewing did 43 twice in back-to-back playoff years. And Marquise Johnson, that was the year we traded for him, I think, when we drafted Ewing. Maybe I got him in 84, 85. That's possible. I don't know. But he got 42 in a playoff game. Field goals made, Shaq got 20 in 97. Ewing 18, 17 for Kobe. Three-pointers made, Kobe and Durant done it twice, including here in this last season. Reggie got 6 back in 89, so back when 6 threes was a crazy amount. Free throws, we got Ewing getting 17 in 92. Kobe, Durant, we got Shaq getting a lot of free throws made. He was pretty awful over these simulations. Rebounds, Ewing with 21 tied Shaq, or Shaq tied him rather. And then Clark Kellogg also got 20 in 86, which was our first playoff experience, I think. And then Ewing got 19 in 92 as well. So he had a 21 and a 19, 4 days apart. Okay, so I lied. He didn't get 25. He did get 21 and a 20 and another 20. And Chris Paul got 20 twice as well. Blocks, Ewing got 8 in 92. Shaq tied it in 98. Then we got Ewing and Shaq getting it a couple more times. Steals, Dwayne Wade got 10 steals in 2010. That's craziness. Harper got 8 back in 87. Stockton 8. Payton got 7 a couple times. Minutes, Clark Kellogg played 49 one game. Johnson 47. Those were on the same game, so that might have been like a triple overtime or something like that, because I did do that once, I believe. I just realized, like, it was a while since I had an overtime game. Like, they didn't come that often, but I think early on they did. Ewing, 46, 45, Shaq, 45. So nothing since 95 comes to minutes, but we had a much more balanced team, I guess, after that. Turnovers, Peyton got 9, 8. Kobe and Wade are there. All right, let's go for... Oh, I forgot. They don't. This is another glitch for 2K. They don't actually update the franchise stats for seasons. nor careers. So this is all pre-83 stuff that does not change, not even the per game stuff, so it's pretty stupid. And career is the same, so we will just go look at the NBA records. So it's been a while, I think, since I showed this. I looked at it sometimes when I was offline just to see what was going on, but nobody touched the points records for the game. Field goals made, same. Three-pointers, however, we had at least 5, maybe more, guys hit 10 threes. Nobody in this last season, but Ilyasova was the most recent man who's done it a couple times. Stephen Curry in his early career got 10. Free throws made, we did have Michael Jordan hit 25 back in the start of his second season. Moncrief got 24 in the same year. Rebounds, nobody's even close, probably. Assists, not going to happen. Although what I saw, Stockton was at 24. So if they did like a top 10, he might be there. Blocks, nothing. Steals, Jason Richardson, I remember seeing that game. He got 11 steals, craziness. Jason Terry randomly got 10. Battier kind of makes sense with 10 as well. Minutes, nobody. Turnovers, Allen Iverson got 13 in 08 and also 12 in the same month. He had a bad month. All right, playoffs, still not. Oh, just kidding. Dominique Wilkins is here in 89. And Adrian Dantley, I totally forgot he scored 56 points in a game in that first season we simulated in the playoffs. Field goals made, there's Olajuwon with 23. Dominique got 23 twice. Three-pointers, Mike Dunleavy and Jamal Crawford both have hit 11 in a game. And Dunleavy did it back in 04. That's like his second season, I think. Arenas and Augustine and Damon Jones got 9. So 11, that's more than the 10 we just saw in the season highs, right? There were 5 people with 10 and now 2 people with 11 in the playoffs. Free throws made, Dantley got 24. So I wonder if that was that the same game as his crazy scoring, maybe? Stoudemire got 21, Drexler, Tripucka as well. Rebounds, of course, nobody's getting 40 rebounds. Assists, Magic Johnson got 27 assists, 25 and 93. Johnny Moore did in that first season, got 23. Magic's all over this. And then Steve Nash, 22 back in 2010. Blocks, we got Josh Smith, Elton Brand, and Tim Duncan with 8. Elton Brand's pretty random, I would say. 6'8" power forward, getting 8 blocks. Steals, there's Dwayne Wade with 10 steals also in a playoff game. Wallace and Kirilenko had 8. Minutes, nobody's playing 67 minutes. Turnovers, Ron Artest, 16 turnovers in a game is just ridiculous. Like, he would have been benched at turnover number 8, I feel like. Like, who's leaving somebody in who's turning the ball over 16 times? LeBron got 10, Price 12, Marbury 10. Going on to the season records, only 2. At least they stand out pretty well because you can see the full date. LeBron had the 5th most points. That would have been the year he averaged 35 plus. And then Iverson's 10th when he averaged 32.5 or something like that. Field goals made, LeBron's there in 6th. Three-pointers, oh boy. J.J. Redick just broke the record by 13. The record that Michael Redd had for almost a decade, back-to-back years of 290 plus. But Kevin Love also was close this year. Curry, that's him this year, that's him last year. And I'm pretty sure both seasons he was hurt at some point, so he could have had more. Kemba, so there's some guys shooting lots of threes. Some of that has to do with the fact that I stopped editing draft classes in the last few years, so their tendencies are probably just craziness. Add that to the fact that some of them are on teams with people who don't shoot, so they're going to shoot a lot more. Free throws made, Dantley 7th, and Mullen was 9th, so nobody in is any later than 88 here. Nobody in rebounds. Assists, Kevin Porter's the only guy who remains from when we started this thing. Magic Johnson has the top 2. Stockton has 4 in here, and then Johnson has the last 3 as well. Dominated by those 2 guys. Blocks, nobody. Steals, nobody. Minutes, nobody. Turnovers, Allen Iverson, back in 2000, 9th most ever in history. Looking at averages, so Iverson didn't make it in this, but LeBron is 7th in points per game. Field goal percentage, Dwight Howard almost shot 70% back in 2010. So I think that was when he was still on the Pacers. P.J. Brown almost shot 70% as well. There's Dwight again in 11. Greg Dreiling randomly, 67%. Dwight again. Shaq does make it in here, but it's mostly Dwight Howard. 3-point percentage. Sam Cassell shot almost 55% from downtown. I don't know how many he shot, but he was real good at them. The most recent one here, year before last, E.G. and Leanne shot 52% for the Magic. Nate McMillan, that's pretty random, 51%. Even back in 85, World B. Free, 51%. I don't think so. Free throw percentage, we had Hersey Hawkins was just amazing at free throws. Like, he must have missed one all season. 99.4% in 98, 99, and 2000. And then you go 97, 2003, 2002, 93. Like, his whole career is almost in here. Just ridiculous. So career free throw percentage, I imagine he's going to be at the top. But B.J. Armstrong was really good, too. Nobody in rebounds. Assists is going to be Magic and Stockton, of course. Magic averaged almost 15 assists per game in that first season. Ridiculous. Stockton's highest ever was 13.5, and he did it in back-to-back years. Nobody in blocks. Nobody in steals. Nobody in minutes. Games played. I remember being amazed by this when I first looked at it after the 96 season. Keith Askins managed to play 89 games in a season because of some midseason trade where the team he played for at first must have been front-loaded in their season and their schedule, and then the team he got traded to was back-loaded, so he got all sorts of playing time. And the fact that it says he's 54 overall and he's in a Santa Cruz Warriors jersey means he's one of those glitched guys that's trapped in G League hell right now, because I believe whoever was assigned to the G League teams when the G League was first created, whatever season that was, those guys are stuck there forever. And I don't know if it's because I have like G League games turned off or whatever, I'm not managing them, but there are 50-plus-year-old players playing in the G League, and Keith Askins is surely one of them. I'm pretty sure there are people whose ages are approaching their overalls or maybe have surpassed them at this point. So that's a fun little side story. Reggie Evans also got to play 87 season before last. Drew Gooden, Tony Allen. Well, Tony Allen, I think that was when I traded him, so he got to play some extra games. Fouls, we didn't set the record, but Purvis Allison was close back in 91. Mashburn fouled a whole lot. Barkley, Purvis is on here twice. Allen Houston, a random guard, fouling a whole bunch. Yeah, I guess so. I mean, that's true. The big three, some of those guys, a little past their prime. But they're doing what they love, I guess, right? I actually went to see when the Big Three came to Indianapolis a few years ago. I think it was the second season they were actually in existence. I went to see them just because there were some cool guys, but got to see Dr. J up close. Trying to remember who else was there. Maybe Birdman, Chris Anderson, Charles Oakley, Lisa Leslie, some of the coaches. So it was kind of cool experience. It was a pretty sparse crowd, I would say. Not many people there to see it, which is why it seems like they're really struggling. LeBron James had 28 40-point games, the only guy on this list. 50-point games, he had 5. That was in the same season, back in 08. Nobody's touching Wilt's records. Triple-doubles, Magic, and Kidd all made it with 20. Half of what Oscar did. All right, now we go to career. This is going to be interesting. So Kareem still just dominates everybody. Um, Iverson got second when he just retired. So in this last season, he passed Michael Jordan for second all time by almost 100 points. Weber retired in 10th. Ewing ends up 11th. Shaq retires in 16th, so couldn't even make it to the top 15, but he was again surrounded by a bunch of Hall of Famers and guys taking the ball from him, so whatever. He got 20 championships. He's happy. The top active player right now is Paul Pierce. I would imagine, I was going to say, Kobe's got to be close. LeBron, even though he's only played 10 years, has to be pretty far up. I'm just going to go see where he is. Melo's in front of LeBron? No way. Did I pass? Maybe I passed LeBron. I hope I passed LeBron. Seems like I did. I think I was looking for the Blazers logo. Oh, that's Gilbert. And I forgot he was on the Spurs. Good call. 37th, right there. Yeah, I was looking for the Blazers logo in the background. I wasn't really looking at names or faces even. I was looking for the logo, and I totally forgot he's been on the Spurs for like 5 years now. So 37th. Well, I think he'll be moving on up pretty quickly. Field goals made. Iverson was not second in that, so he must have got quite a few threes and free throws. Shaq ends up 13th. The highest active player is Paul Pierce again. Kobe is 30th. 3-point, oh my, that's pretty random. Rasheed Wallace, but he is like 38, 39 years old now, so I guess he's been shooting them for a while. A lot of active players here. Iverson ended up 22nd. Nash is 17th. There's Kobe in 14th. Kidd 11th. Reggie ends up 8th. He retired as the leader, but has been passed by several people already. Peja almost to 3,000 now. I would imagine people like J.J. Redick and Steph Curry are going to be zooming up here if I don't change their tendency. What am I doing for 2K24? That would be kind of interesting to see like the teams start off with their real teams and see if I can compete with them. I don't know if I want to be the Pacers again. Maybe I do. Maybe I don't. Yeah, I haven't decided yet. Still thinking about it. Free throws made. The highest of people we had. Kareem, Michael Jordan were 4 free throws apart. Ewing ends up 12th. Where was Shaq? He missed a lot, but he also shot a lot. 25th. Just imagine if he made more of them. Kind of like in real life. The highest active player is Kobe at 28th. Bringing title to the Knicks. Yeah, I could try to do that. Who the Knicks? Did they have Melo and Stoudemire at that point? Is that who they'd be starting with? We had Jermaine in 20th. Where's Shaq? Shaq's 12th. So we needed 7 to tie Ewing. That kind of sucks that he couldn't get that many. If I would have played him like a couple more games that I rested him, but whatever. Doesn't matter. Oh. Okay. So they've got Gallinari and who else was traded for Melo? Why am I forgetting? Wilson Chandler? I know it wasn't like great players. Assists. So Stockton ended up 1,000 behind Magic. Kidd ends up 400 behind Stockton. Payton ended up 5th. We got 7 guys over 10,000. Steve Nash is the active leader with the 11th place. Blocks. Shaq must be top 5 because I don't see him here, and I know he had a lot. Jermaine's making his way into the top 10, maybe. Duncan is already 7th. Shaq ended up 4th. Oh my gosh, 2 behind Ewing. Could have ended up 3rd, whatever. Steals, Kidd beats MJ by 100. Iverson retires in 5th. Stockton was 9th. Chauncey Billups is the active leader in 11th. Minutes. Rasheed Wallace is 16th and still going. Michael Jordan's 10th. Marbury's still going. He's a 9th. Webber. So Shaq ended up passing Webber by 3 minutes. That's where it was helpful to play him those extra minutes in that final game. And Kidd is 4th. So Kidd, drafted 2 years after Shaq, retired the same year but played 2,000 more minutes, probably because he didn't miss half or whole seasons like Shaq did. Turnovers, Kidd passes Magic. Marbury's 6th. Points per game. So it only shows this for people who have already retired in the past. So I think the people who just retired, like Iverson, will not show up in here. I believe is how it works. It won't do that until I start the season. So we can only see people that have retired previously. It's like Dominique. Michael Jordan's down there in 15th. Field goal percentage, oh my gosh. Greg Dreiling. Well, I imagine whenever Dwight Howard retires, he's going to be first in this. Shaq's going to be pretty high. I might go look to see if I can still see his stats to see what his career field goal percentage was. 3-point percentage, Steve Kerr, 48.5%. That's 4% better than the next guy, which is Drazen. Reggie ended up 4th. Stockton's down there in 9th. That's surprising. Free throw percentage, it was indeed Hersey Hawkins, and there's B.J. Armstrong. John Barry, Mahmoud. Michael Jordan was 7th. Rebounds per game, who's the first guy who actually played during our simulations? Moses played, but some of his was before. There's Kareem and Hayes. Lambeer, Olajuwon. Okay, Olajuwon's the first guy who started in ours. Webber was right behind him. Ewing right behind him. Okay. Assists per game, Stockton right ahead of Magic. Interesting. Unless they're legit tied and it doesn't put them in actual order, but either way, they're at the top. Tim Hardaway 7th, Gary Payton 13th. Blocks, Ewing ends up 2nd. Robinson, Olajuwon right there. Sean Bradley 11th, Mutombo. Steals per game, there's Payton in 11th. Isaiah, Magic, Jordan in 4th. Cheeks, I imagine Kidd's going to be close up here once he enters the mix. Minutes per game is going to be nobody from ours. Kareem, Moses, there's Magic, Dantley, there's Bird. Games played, so this one we've already looked at. Kobe's already in 43rd. He's missed several half seasons as well. Iverson ends up in 35th. Page is still going in 33rd. Garnett's 31st. Ewing ended up 23rd. There's Marbury breaking into the top 20 soon. Kellogg back to 13th. He was top 5, I think, when he retired. Might have been 3rd, actually. Rasheed's still going. Webber's 9th. Payton 5th. And there's Shaq. 27 games ahead of Kevin Willis. Fouls. Arvidas fouled more than everybody. 40-point games. LeBron is going to be in 2nd probably by the end of this coming season. Iverson 5th. I don't know. My top guy probably Kobe or Ewing. I don't think it's Shaq. There's Ewing with 17. Kobe's probably in double digits, I would think. There he is, 12. I don't know if Shaq's in the list. There he is. He got 9. That's respectable. 50. We see a Ewing right there. Bird got 150. Pierce had 2. MJ had 2. Robinson had 2. Michael Redd with 3. Jim Jackson with 3. Gilbert with 4. Bernard King, George Gervin, Maravich. There's Dantley. LeBron and Melo both with 7. Dominique had 9. Kareem with 10. Iverson with 10. So Iverson's the highest of the guys we've been seeing. Triple doubles. Kid ends up 3rd. Magic got rather close to the big O there. Bird with 35. LeBron's going to pass him soon enough. As for guys I've had on my team, Pippen probably. There he is, 11. A lot of those were not on my team, but he played for my team for half his career. And I'm not even going to scroll for other guys. And then we're back to that. Alright, what else? Oh, I was going to see, can I still look at Shaq? Ah, yeah, stats. So, I was looking at field goal percentage, 59%. So he's going to be pretty high up there on the list. And honestly, his rebounds will be pretty high as well. That was 10 point something, 10.1 or something was those guys we were seeing. His blocks will be pretty high. I'd say he had a nice career. It also shows, I think it puts these guys in years pro order. So he played 2 more years than anybody else. Is that true? And still barely managed to beat Kevin Wilson games played. So that just shows how many games he missed in some seasons. I mean, even barring these last few years where I was resting him, but he played 37 in that one. 60s. Oh, okay, he didn't miss as many as I thought he did. I thought there were a few years where he played less than half, but I guess he only had one of those. Huh. Okay. Take it all back. There's a humming. Uh-oh. Well, our AC did just kick on, but I would hope that it wouldn't be that loud, because I don't feel like it's that loud, but if so, I apologize, but I do need some airflow. So, there's that. There's nothing... That was everything, I think, league history-wise to look at. We looked at all that. The cool rule changes. Oh, trophy case. I don't know what portfolio is. Contract wage. I get paid VC for wins and losses. I didn't realize that. You only get 100 more for winning? That's silly. 14 Executive of the Year awards. That's it? Or is that just because they can't give me another shelf? Is that possible? Does it only hold on to so many of them? Also, I have no idea what order these are in. I've noticed that before. Like 05-06 finals, 86-87 finals, 87, 88, 80, 98, 99, 91, 02. Like, who doesn't put these in some sort of order? What kind of maniac is so unorganized with their trophies? Can I see that now? No jersey sales. You could just up and move the Pacers, relocate. Rivals. So you would think after so many, let's see, series against like the Lakers and Warriors and Wolves and Blazers, like those teams would be rivals. 67. Lakers are only at 20, but it's been a while since we faced them. Suns. So maybe recency is a pretty big part of it. Grizzlies are at 84. Bulls are in 86, and I don't feel like I mean, yes, they're a division rival, and they've got a really good roster, but we've not faced them unlike the Eastern Conference Finals very often. The Wolves is a 0. That doesn't make a lot of sense. Yeah, it is kind of cool. It says all-time. Do I have a losing record against anybody? Oh my god, that says 34. No. Well, the poor Bobcats have not had a chance. Now I want to see the Raptors and Grizzlies. Raptors we've lost to 4 times. Grizzlies are in Memphis. We've lost to them 7 times. Ooh. Who else has... So the Hornets are down here. 70-10. The Wolves... I was trying to think expansion teams since we started this. 43-5. The Heat... 83-11. Magic 84-9. Is that it? Heat, Hornets, Wolves, Magic. I think those are all the expansion teams since we started this thing. So the Bobcats are surely the only team we're undefeated against. That was really funny to see. But we've played enough to where we're not going to have a losing record against anybody either. We've played the Hawks a lot. The Cavs. Huh, wow, that's a screen I've not really looked at. Alright, well I think, unless I stumble upon something else, oh, we can maybe see, can we see some of the, these guys are in their 40s, and these are fake guys. Why are we just on the Mad Ants? Oh, because I'm on player stats. I wanted to see if any of the, there they are, Don McClain, 43 years old, Pete Chilcutt, 44, Sharon Wright, 41, there's Stan O'Neill, the forgotten O'Neill. Yes, mentors, that was one of the things I would always do between the off season and the kickoff of the first video of each season. I would go in and do, it's usually under training, player mentorship. So that's why I would sign people like, year before last one I had Antonio McDice, so he would be training like, I don't know, Boogie Cousins or somebody to help give them badges, so. Yep, it's still a thing. I still don't think it works to where people can get badges mid-season for some reason, even though the graph shows that they should get one. They don't actually get it till the off-season, so that seems kind of silly. But yeah, it exists. Alright, I think I will stop there, and then what I will plan on doing is a kind of speed simulation from here we are in the 2013 off season. I will let go of control of the Pacers, and we will simulate a decade in the future, probably just 1 year at a time, but all in one video, probably all in one sitting will go fast enough, and just see how things turn out. Could be kind of fun, and then we could do maybe another recap video of what happened. But it's been really fun seeing what's happened with this team, and now it's going to be kind of entertaining probably to see what the CPU can do with it, or if it breaks the game somehow, because they don't know how to draft with. Can I see my picks yet? No, because the draft lottery's soon. So we'll pick that up soon enough. As always, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for the engagement, Mr. Big Ultra, and hopefully see you again soon. Till then, Shaq Redemption's out.